Hello, and welcome to GameSack.
This episode we're going to take a look at the Wonder Boy series.
Yeah, and what else?
And the bastard offshoot Adventure Island.
You mean the evolution?
Oh no, I mean bastard offshoot. I mean it's a complete rip-off.
In a good way.
Well, a lot of you may not be familiar with either the Wonder Boy series or the Adventure Island series, but no time like the present for some learning.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Wonder Boy was a game where you had a constantly depleting health bar and you were required to keep getting fruit in order to stay alive. It was a sleeper hit in the arcades, but Sega brought it home to the Master System where it enjoyed more success. And look at his woman in the title screen. She's making that same face that chicks love to do on Facebook. Look at that. Duck face. Anyway, this game has pretty clean graphics. It's fairly close to the arcade.
Yeah, super bright colors here. I like that. But look at Wonder Boy, though. He looks kind of like a dope with his blonde hair.
I know, well...
Is that hair or a lemon cut in half on his head?
Looks like sort of a white pygmy, I guess.
Yeah, well, you know.
The music in this game, it's kind of annoying. It sounds like a carnival. It just plays over and over and over.
Yeah, they made it a little bit too short and looped it too often.
But it is a true version of the arcade. It's not some sort of crappy Me Too version. We'll get into that in a sec. But this game is known as Revenge of Drancon on the Game Gear for whatever reason. And it's basically the same, just cropped a whole lot. Wonder Boy was created by Sega and Escape, now known as Westone or Westone, whatever. Long story short, Hudson got a license from Escape to do a home port, but Sega still owned the rights to Wonder Boy itself. So Hudson changed the characters into Master Higgins or whatever his stupid little name is to skirt this issue, and as such we have what is now known as the Adventure Island series of games. You know, this really seems like a sprite hack of Wonder Boy, even though the gameplay is identical.
Yeah, but look how cool he is. He doesn't have lemon-colored hair in this one. He wears an awesome baseball cap like Mario, and he wears a cool loincloth of leaves. And I love how he's all about safety, wearing a helmet and pads while he's skateboarding.
Yeah, but I think the graphics are kind of crappy, and just look at the colors. It just looks like crap because it's on the Nintendo. And
oh, whatever. The sprites are much bigger than what was on the Master System, so, you know, they're better and easier on your eyes.
Well, the character looks like he has an IQ of about 3. Come on. Well, he collects vases instead of dolls, so I guess they had to change that around. I don't know why.
Well, I know why. Because dolls are for girls, and, you know, Hudson's like, we're not going to have guys collecting girl stuff in our game. That's for girls. Leave it to Sega.
You know, I actually wrote a letter to Hudson Soft back in the day saying I will not buy Hudson Soft games because they ripped off Wonder Boy. And I never got a response back, but I honestly wrote them that, and I didn't know the story behind the games back then.
And I'm sure you bought a Hudson Soft game since.
Yes. Hudson decided to follow up with a bunch of sequels that had nothing really to do with Wonder Boy, such as Hudson's Adventure Island 2 on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Adventure Island 2 on the NES. Oh, this is great. It's pretty much more the same of what you found in the first Adventure Island, but they did add a world map, and levels are split up into islands on this world map, which each level has a crap load of tiny levels under one island. It also included bonus levels, vertical scrolling levels, and it introduced animals to ride.
What about Hudson's Adventure Island 3? I mean, that's the same old thing again, nothing new, right?
Well, Joe, you're exactly right. This is pretty much wash, rinse, and repeat on this one. It has a little bit nicer graphics and art, added a couple new weapons, and a duck feature, so it was slightly enough to call it a new or a sequel, but, you know, not too much new here.
Well, how about Hudson's Adventure Island 4, which was never released in the US? They tried to make the gameplay lean a little bit more towards adventure and less towards action, and I don't think it really worked.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, if you're used to a game that goes at a quick pace, yeah, this is not it. They added a lot of puzzles and doors and stuff to slow the game down immensely, and some people kind of like that. Could go either way, I don't know.
Hudson didn't leave out the Game Boy either. We got 2 ports of the NES games to the old black and white. Adventure Island on the Game Boy was actually a port of Adventure Island 2 from the NES.
Yes, it was.
And Adventure Island 2 on the Game Boy was actually a port of Adventure Island 3 from the NES.
Yes, this is a true fact.
Yes. There are also versions of Adventure Island on the Game Boy Advance, but these are just the original Nintendo versions ported over. Same goes for any versions on PSN, Wii Virtual Console, or Xbox Live. God, we've been talking about these Adventure Island games for long enough already.
Yeah, you could talk about them forever, in my opinion.
No. I thought this was a Wonder Boy retrospective, right?
Partly.
Alright, well let's talk about some more Wonder Boy games, starting with Wonder Boy 2.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab a soda, so call me when you're done, alright?
Oh, no. I need your input on this. Let's talk about Wonder Boy 2.
Okay, let's go.
Wonder Boy in Monsterland was the arcade follow-up to the original game, and it changed the style of play greatly. You no longer need fruit, but instead you need time, which I guess is the same thing when you think about it. The gameplay is slower with an emphasis on questing. Sega brought it home to the Master System with great results.
Man, look at this game. It is very colorful. You remember when games actually had color in them?
I do. There are lots of hidden doorways to find in this game. What's this? Someone be beyond the wall? What is this, Ebonics?
That's the funny part, and that's what makes this game so fun to play and explore.
Yeah, this game had different music than the arcade, but I still think the music's really good.
Oh, totally good. The only part that drowns out the music that's super annoying is when you're about to die and there's that super loud alarm that just, it won't go away until you get some more hearts.
Yeah, I agree. I hate that. And this game absolutely requires you to use the Sega Master System control pad, so don't try playing it with the Genesis controller. Other than that, it's a fun game.
Agreed.
Hudson once again got their half-assed license for the game and brought it to the PC Engine in a game called By Curie Man World.
What? By Curious Man? I didn't get that vibe. He doesn't look bi-curious to me.
Well, I guess he is, otherwise they would have called it something else. Anyway, this is another sprite-hacked game with anime characters from some random anime, I guess. Has a giant bar on the left side of the screen, but that means it's more faithful to the arcade. And the whole game is in Moon language, making it very difficult to understand if you don't speak that Moon language. But overall, it's still a very good game. Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair is the last Wonder Boy-based arcade game. It drops the questing in favor of once again collecting fruit. The second half of each stage acts like a shooter. Sega brought it home to the Mega Drive in Japan and it never came to the US.
Ew, look at that though. It's ugly, that's why.
To be honest, it's fairly boring. Hudson once again had their version of the game, this time for the TurboGrafx CD, but it was one of the very first CD video games ever released on a console in the US.
Oh, and the CD makes all the difference. I mean, listen to that music.
Yeah, the music is light years ahead of the other two versions.
Yeah, and I really like this game with auto-scrolling. It really keeps the pace up.
Yeah, it's much more fun to play than either the arcade or the Mega Drive version in my opinion.
Oh, totally, and it gives you a nice, cool amount of weapons to choose from.
Yeah, Monster Lair for your TurboGrafx CD. Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's Trap is not to be confused with Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair. This game is a direct sequel to Wonder Boy in Monsterland and appeared first on the Sega Master System. The game starts you in the last maze from Monsterland, but it's much easier here. In fact, it's totally hard to get lost or die.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you have to be a total dipwad to get lost in this thing. I mean, it takes 3 or 4 tries, but you make it through very quickly.
Yeah, 3 or 4 tries for you. But once you get through, you lose all of your hearts for no reason after you get to the town. But everything is nice, bright, colorful. I love it.
Yeah, definitely a cool game. I mean, good music.
Great music.
Great music in spots.
No, great music, the whole thing.
Hey, what's up with Sega putting the pause button on the console? I mean, who wants to get off their butt and go into the status screen, you know, every time they need to switch something around?
Yeah. It's to help you get exercise. It's like their version of Wii Fit. So it kept gamers from getting fat.
Oh, right. I'm pretty sure Nintendo laughed at this idea.
Yeah, okay. But this game has, the only thing I really don't like about it is the choppy scrolling. And you can't really tell very much on YouTube, but it's there. It scrolls kind of choppily.
Yeah, and I really don't like those damn crabs either. Oh my god, they're impossible to get past.
Impossible for you. Again, Hudson just had to have their own version, so they made Dragon's Curse for the TurboGrafx 16.
As usual, Hudson improves upon Sega's efforts in graphics and music. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, well, the music is a lot better, and it does have smoother scrolling. You can't really tell on YouTube, like I said, but it is definitely better in every way.
I mean, it's better in every way. The only thing they should have done is taken out those stupid crabs.
Yeah, they have different looking animals that you play as than Wonder Boy 3, but otherwise it's pretty faithful.
Yeah, very good game.
Sega and Westone, whatever, were at it again when they came up with Wonder Boy and Monster World, which returns to the Monsterland style of gameplay. This here is the Genesis version. The game has a very slow pace until you get better boots.
Oh my god, is that slow?
Yes, it is, but, you know, it's still fairly fun in my opinion. I mean, I like the style of gameplay.
Yeah, very colorful, really good graphics. I do like the art style in here.
Yeah, and it required the mastering of the ocarina, which of course means that this is the best video game ever.
Oh, I love ocarinas. Nintendo had that really cool game with the ocarina.
But Sega had it first, so it's better. It was also ported to the Sega Master System, but it was never released in the US. And it's a fairly faithful translation. Some short transitional sections were left out, and it still requires the mad ocarina skills.
The ocarina again?
Yep.
Sheesh.
Yep. Hudson Soft took the game, added an anime intro with some chick singing, hacked the sprites, and gave us Dynastic here on the TurboGrafx CD/Turbo Duo. It plays exactly like Wonder Boy and Monster World on the Genesis, but with sprite-hacked characters and different music. And the game is crazy expensive. Be prepared to get your anus extremely stretched when purchasing this one.
Oh my god, and I don't like getting my anus stretched, so I will not be purchasing this one.
Oh, I think you will. Sega and West Company took one last stab at the series with Monster World 4. It's on the Mega Drive and it's a fantastic game, and unfortunately it never saw release outside of Japan. Wonder Boy isn't in here, but it clearly takes place in Monster World.
Yeah, definitely, it's kind of a nice change to have Wonder Girl in here, but...
It's a great game with fast-moving action.
Yeah, totally awesome. The only slowdown part is when you get to the Sphinx and he asks you trivia questions and...
Yeah, and that moon language again, what's up with that?
God, yeah, and if you can't read that, you're in trouble.
Some of the music has been lifted from Wonder Boy and Monsterland as well, but it's overall a fantastic game and you should buy it today.
Today. Are you happy now, Joe? We're done with the Wonder Boy stuff, I think, and we still have some Adventure Island games I'd like to talk about.
No. We're done. See ya.
We're not done yet. Hold tight. We got a few more Adventure Island games to touch on, so sit still.
Damn it. First up is New Adventure Island for the TurboGrafx 16. Now this is kind of a remake of the first game, but not really. I guess it's half a remake and half a new game, but it's still pretty cool.
Oh, it's totally cool, especially because it has that Super Nintendo effect where it gets you zoomed into each level.
No. That looks like ass.
I like it.
And here we have Super Adventure Island on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. But you know, I think this is the best Adventure Island game ever. It has fantastic music by Yuzo Koshiro.
Oh my god, Joe, you are so right that this is by far the best Adventure Island game ever. And it's because Yuzo, Nintendo, Hudson... Hey, what system was that on again? I didn't really hear that.
Super Nintendo?
You're right, it is.
Oh. And that was followed up by Super Adventure Island 2, also on the Super Nintendo. Now this one's a little bit more adventure-based, almost like an RPG, and you know, I kind of think it sucks.
Yeah, you know what? I think people were beating the first one so fast that they wanted more, and Hudson's like, well, you know what? We'll put an adventure thing in here and make it a lot longer game, and it really didn't work.
No, it didn't, and it doesn't have Yuzo Koshiro music either, and it just it makes me want to turn it off. Let's go to another game. Unfortunately, Hudson just couldn't let its Adventure Island series rest in peace. So they made a brand new downloadable game for the Wii, and it's called Adventure Island: The Beginning. This is a side-scrolling game made entirely of yucky polygon graphics.
You know, that's the hard part, is because I know these companies want to get modern, but side-scrolling games with polygons, it just doesn't look good, it lags, it just is not good.
No, it looks worse than any other Adventure Island or Wonder Boy game. I mean, far worse in my opinion. It has stupid music, and these springs, I just cannot master the spring to get up here. What the hell? How do you do this? I'm just too stupid, I guess. Say, Dave, let's do some head-to-head comparisons of some of the various games.
Oh, that's awesome. I love when you do that. Let's do it.
And there you have it. Say, Dave, which do you like better, the Adventure Island series or the Wonder Boy series? And what's your favorite game amongst them?
Oh, that's a great question, Joe. And
I think mine is Wonder Boy 3 because it's made by...
I'm sorry, I've got to do this. You're interrupting me too often and this has got to stop. Anyways, as I was saying, I like both series very much. They're both awesome. But if I had to choose, Monster Lair on the Turbo is probably second place. But first place goes to Super Adventure Island for its awesomeness overall. You can talk now. I hope you learned your lesson, by the way.
Well, my favorite was probably Wonder Boy 3. I've got to give nods to Dragon's Curse, but you know, Wonder Boy 3 is a real Sega game.
Got your Adventure Island and my Wonder Boy. Yeah, well, you've got your Wonder Boy and my Adventure Island. Ew. You know what I mean.